Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. So it has been a little while since I've done a reading vlog and honestly there's a few reasons for that. Firstly, I wasn't reading very much because I had a lot of things going on and I just wasn't in the mood for reading, but also I was finding reading vlogs really hard to keep up with. I was getting overwhelmed with the amount of editing they needed because there's so many clips and they're much longer videos than all my other videos, and yeah, it was just a lot and I was really struggling. And also I kept feeling this pressure to look perfect every single day so that I would look nice in my vlog, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and vlog again to be real again. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Also it is Tuesday because I forgot to start the vlog last night when I meant to. But so yeah, it's Tuesday, it's the 27th of July and I am reading Fat Chance Charlie Vega by, who's it by? Crystal Maldonado. Which every time I read that it just makes me think of Joe Exotic. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna put this down to make it easier to film. Now, you may remember a while ago I was reading this and I ended up putting it down. I think I was struggling to read it and I knew it wasn't because it was bad and I wasn't enjoying it, and I think I've now realised it was kind of triggering me because there's a fair amount of fat phobia in this book. But this is about a young woman named Charlie Vega. She is a high school student and she is fat, and her mother used to be fat but is now super skinny and like obsessed with the fact that she's skinny and obsessively eats really like healthy but not in a healthy way, and is constantly like bringing Charlie down and like always talking about Charlie needing to lose weight. But Charlie has these amazing friends and there's a boy who seems to maybe like her, and it just is, it's really wholesome. It's really sweet. I'm loving it so far. I find a lot of it really relatable and yeah, it's so good. I read another 100 pages last night. I actually stayed up a bit late to read 100 pages and it's so good. I could have kept reading. I really want to finish this today. I don't know how much I've got left actually. I think I've got just over 100 pages left. Oh no, I have exactly 100 pages left, so I should finish this tonight. As long as I stick to my schedule, I'll finish this tonight or today, maybe even before the night time. And I will let you know what I'm thinking. And yeah, I'm enjoying it and I really like it. That's all I have to say. I'm also listening to Hidden Bodies. Can't remember the author's name, but it's the second book in the series of You, you know, the Netflix show. And basically I can't tell you much about the second one because it's major spoilers for the first one, but it is about a man named Joe Goldberg who gets obsessive about women and he stalks them, and yeah, he has some dark tendencies basically. I can't really remember what happens very much in the first book, so I don't want to say too much in case I spoil anything in the first book, but if you've seen the TV show, the first book and the first series match up really well, but from there on the show kind of goes off on its own. But the second book was really good. I'm nearly done. I think I'm like chapter 48 out of 50 something, so I have about an hour and a half left I think, so I hopefully will finish that some point this week. Will I update you not from my bed this week? Who knows, let's find out. So it's now Wednesday and last night I finished 2 books actually. I was really happy with that. I finished Hidden Bodies, which is the second book in the You series by Caroline Kepnes, and I gave that one 5 stars. I don't know, I just had that 5-star feeling from it. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it 100% via audiobook over on Scribd. I actually finished it while I was doing a workout, so it's quite a tense workout. The ending was an ending. And yeah, I just really like these books. I never expect what's coming next. I think that's partially because I don't really read a lot of thrillers, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend this series if you like the TV show. I will say though, the second book is a bit weird because the first book is written in second person, so like he's always saying you, and then the second book isn't. It's written in third person. No, first person. It's written in first person. that was kind of a deviation, but I've now started the third book in the series and it's back to second person again. I'm not really sure why, but I didn't really find like it being in first person affected me too much. If anything, I found it a bit of an easier read, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I really liked it. I've also finished Fat Chance Charlie Vega last night, so that was a 4-star read for me. I ran it through CawPow just to check, and it was because it's one of those books where it was good but it wasn't amazing, if you know what I mean. Like when I was rating it out of 10 for CawPow in each section, most sections were getting like an 8 or a 9 but not quite a 10, and it averaged out to a 4. What's the matter? Got a kitty. So yeah, it was probably about a 4-star, and I really liked it. It's really wholesome, really sweet, and I would highly recommend it. It's very fat positive, it's got really good queer rep in it, and yeah, I really liked it. The reason it did get 5 stars from me was just because it was missing that little extra spark, and I did sometimes find it annoying how Charlie spoke in her narration because it's first person, I think. First person. Yeah, and I didn't enjoy some of the things she said. I felt like it wasn't quite realistic teenager for me. It felt a bit like how adults think teenagers speak, but most of the time it was fine. So yeah, it just wasn't quite 5 stars, but it was pretty close, and I think it's really good. It's a really great YA contemporary with a really good romance in it, and I feel like lessons are learned in a really good, healthy way. So yeah, I really like that. So I'm, like I've already said, I'm listening to book 3 in the You series now as my audiobook. So for my physical, I'm picking up The Graceling. This is because I've decided to join The Graceling along at the last minute, so I only have a few days to read it before the end of July, because I believe this is the one that we need to read at the end of July. So hopefully I can get this done before the live stream. It's not too thick, so hopefully I should. And yeah, I don't really know much about this. I know it's about people who've given special powers, and her special power in the main character in the book, special power is to kill people, I think. So that's quite an unusual special power. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it. I've heard great things. Apparently this is a bit of a classic YA fantasy that everyone loves, so I'm really excited to see what I think of it. Hello, so it is Thursday night, and a few hours ago I was on Elisa's channel, The Petite Punk, and I was reading Graceling, which I think I said in my last clip I was picking up. I've only got a couple of days to read this before the end of the month, so I'm hoping to power through it in the next couple of days and over the weekend. So I was really struggling when I first started reading this one again, because I haven't read like a proper fantasy, and especially not a new to me fantasy series, in a really long time. I've mostly been reading romance and contemporaries and things like that, and even like sci-fi I've been reading a lot of, and I find romance I find fantasy is the genre I find actually hardest to read now, because it takes a lot of brain power for me to comprehend the whole world that's going on and all of that kind of stuff, and like all the world building can be very intense depending on how the authors do it, and it can just be really difficult to get into, and I find that sci-fi doesn't have this issue for me, because sci-fi is more based on the real world. Sci-fi, I feel like there's less world building that goes into it than you get with fantasy. So when I first started reading this, I was really struggling, because I was really struggling to get into the world, but I'm starting to get it now. I think normally I would kind of make fun of the author for naming, like, the countries are arranged so the land is cut up, and they're literally called Nanda, Estill, Wester, Sunder and Midlands, and they're literally like in the compass position, so like Midlands is in the middle, Nanda is north, Sunder is south, etc. So, and I actually find that kind of helpful. Normally I'd make fun, but when reading it now, my little pea brain is like, yes, thank you author for making this easy for me to remember where they are. Oh, hi Maggie. So yeah, that's actually been really helpful. but I've got up to, I'm nearly 50 pages in. I'm on chapter 6, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's made a big difference for me. The first couple of chapters I really struggled with, and I found myself drifting off while trying to read, but I'm really getting into it now and I want to know what's going on. Hey baby. And yeah, so I have high hopes for this one, I think, actually. Now I'm finding it really interesting. Oh, cattail. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I was going to say before Maggie distracted me. But no, I'm actually quite looking forward to it. It's not a super long book. Let me see how many pages there are. I think it's nearly 400 pages, but the text is kind of average sized, so it shouldn't take me too long to get through, I don't think. So yeah, I actually decided not to carry on listening to You Love Me, which is the third book in the You series, because I was really struggling with it. I don't want to give any spoilers, but at the end of the second book you feel like it's gonna kind of continue in the third book, but there's a bit of a time jump and it's a very drastic change and not what I was expecting at all, and I'm struggling to stay on board with that. I don't know, it just feels weird. It feels weird that we put so much time and effort into certain parts of the second book only for it to mostly just be thrown away in the third book. So I was getting a bit frustrated, and I decided instead to restart listening to A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I really want to read A Court of Silver Flames, but I have been told that I need to remember what happens in the first few books, so I have started listening to A Court of Thorns and Roses again, and I'm really enjoying it. The narrator isn't great on the Audible version, so I have to speed her up because she's really boring, but once I've sped it up, it's fine. So yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying that reread. I've only read ACOTAR once. I read parts of A Court of Mist and Fury a few times because I have like favourite chapters that I would go back and revisit that were most meaningful to me. So I think I've read parts of A Court of Mist and Fury a few times, but pretty much the whole series I've only read once. So I decided to just restart. If you can hear that, Maggie is licking out of the ice cream bowl and I just can't be bothered to stop her anymore because it's impossible. Please don't judge me. But yes, ACOTAR. I'm doing a reread of ACOTAR so I can read A Court of Silver Flames because I still haven't read that. And apparently if I read A Court of Silver Flames I will then understand why they're trying to rebrand ACOTAR as adult fantasy now. Because I felt like I was going mad because when they announced House of Earth and Blood, they were talking about how that was her first adult fantasy series, and then like a few months later they were like, oh actually no, ACOTAR is adult fantasy, and I was kind of confused because I remember reading the ACOTAR series while I was all still in school, like the whole thing, and it felt very YA to me. But apparently A Court of Silver Flames is basically just smart. And apparently that's why they've had to rebrand it, because A Court of Silver Flames is not suitable for young adult readers. And as much as, because I was saying like, oh but I've heard it's because of sex scenes, but like, you know, you can have sex scenes in YA and people were like, oh this isn't sex scenes Lily, this is full on like erotica basically. I was like, oh fair. So yeah, I'm actually quite intrigued to read it, although I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought we were going to get more plot, but apparently it's not a particularly plot heavy book, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to pass judgment on a book I've not read. So yeah, that's all of my updates for the moment. I am making plans for a big Sarathon at the moment. I have obviously like the actual readathon itself is finalised, all the prompts are finalised, but I realised that I want to host reading sprints but I have not organised them. So I have tweeted and Instagram storied asking for participants, so hopefully by the time you've seen this I'll have some organised for after this vlog goes up, I hope. So yeah, that's kind of all the updates I have for you at the moment. I'm not sure how much I'm going to update this vlog really. This might be a really short vlog because I'm not going to have much time to read after this, and I might not have as much to film. It's really hard to film b-roll when I'm not living alone because like, yeah, it's just hard. I feel like I don't like filming it when my family's around because it feels weird. So we'll see. We'll see. This vlog is a bit of an experiment. Okay, so I haven't updated in a hot minute because I haven't been reading, which is not a surprise to anybody. I did read a little bit, to be fair, of The Graceling, and then I took the bookmark out to take some Bookstagram pictures, and now I don't know where I was. But it's actually getting interesting and I am really enjoying it, so I will continue reading this. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be able to pick it up because Pixarathon has started, but we'll see. I want to read this book and the next book that I can't remember the name of this month so that I can keep up with The Graceling along. But yeah, so who knows what's going to happen there, but I should be picking up It's Behind Me, Fireborn. I'm gonna probably start Fireborn next and start reading that soon, and yeah, that's kind of it. This has been a bit of a rubbish reading vlog, but I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and yeah, I'm gonna keep trying because I do miss vlogging and it's a nice like easy video to be filming. It's just a nightmare to edit. But yeah, best to give it a go. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to see more content from me. If you'd like to leave me a comment to let me know you are here, leave me a star emoji in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Bye.